I want to talk about a really heavy topic. One of the reasons that made me start this channel and try to talk here and be myself was that I felt maybe people my age understand more than we think. The fact that I understand more than people my age isn't really something I want to brag about or say is amazing. In fact, in many situations, it's even hurt me. But in many cases, I see certain things from my elders or the older people in my life that make me feel like just because they're older, it doesn't necessarily mean they understand more. Not every elder deserves respect. We might see a boy who is actually maybe 14 years old, maybe 15, or even younger, but we see that he knows how to show respect. He has a high level of understanding and awareness. We might see an adult who is maybe 30 or 40 years old but doesn't have good understanding or maturity. They might not know how to show respect to others. This is really upsetting, and maybe many of you are wondering what this even has to do with the topic of the podcast. I wanted to say that if I started this channel and you see that at this age, well, actually, I'm sitting here talking to you at 15 or 16 years old. I wanted to say this so that you clearly know that age is just a number. Now, let's get to our main topic, love. First, I have to tell you that love is truly a really beautiful and wonderful thing in life. So please, I urge you, do not experience it with people who are unattractive to you, as it deserves to be shared with someone you genuinely find appealing. By ugly, I don't mean someone's physical appearance, their looks, or their style. I'm not talking about how a person looks. What I mean by ugly is their inner self, even their soul. Many of us may have entered a relationship and, for whatever reason, faced problems with the person we got involved with. What I meant by the phrase, don't get into a relationship with an ugly person, was someone who never truly understands or connects with you. A person who, they want to distance themselves from you for no reason. It's possible that many people have entered a relationship and noticed that after a while, no matter how much affection they show, no matter how much they express their feelings, no matter how hard they try, the other person pulls away even more and acts colder. In fact, what I learned, and this was really strange to me, and when I started researching, I watched some videos and listened to some podcasts. I realized that in dark psychology, there is something that can actually be traced back to the human brain. The human brain is fundamentally always searching for challenges and consistently seeking out difficulties. People never go for something that is already prepared and easy, even when it is right in front of them. They're always after a challenge, especially in relationships. For example, let's say you enter a relationship with someone you really love. You give your all for that person. You always care about them. But after a while, you notice that person is distancing themselves from you. They're acting cold. This isn't that person's problem. The problem is that same aspect of dark psychology. What does this psychology say? Psychology says that the human brain truly loves and is drawn to a challenge. That is why when you pay close attention to someone and give them your full and undivided focus, after some time, they may gradually start to become distant. You might ask why. The reason goes back to this. After some time, the brain concludes, okay, this person is giving me their all. They're making an effort for me, and whenever I need anything, they're always there ready to help. I don't need this person anymore. I want to go after someone new. That's what the brain is actually saying. Why? Because it's looking for a challenge. And here, the heart actually does the opposite. The heart actually goes toward the person it loves and who pays attention to it. But the brain is exactly the opposite. What's really sad is that this story is real, and if you pay too much attention to someone, the chances of losing that person are very high. I've experienced it, you've experienced it, and many others have experienced it or are going to experience it or are currently experiencing it. But it's something that's happening and no one can stop it. It's something that's very sad, but we can't do anything about it. Old loves, the loves that existed before, maybe weren't like this, but now it's like this. Unfortunately, nowadays the brain is actually after something that's harder to get, and you might ask, what should we do? The solution to this story is strategy. The strategy in relationships. is that if you give absolutely everything you have to someone and behave as though they've already won you over, you'll lose that person. So what's the right way? What should we do? The right way is not to try too hard. Don't give your all. Don't act in a way that makes the other person think they've already won you over. Because if you make them think that way, you're telling their brain that you're always available, and their brain realizes that the mission is accomplished and wants to move on. Next person. This story is really a strange one, and I'm sure many have experienced it. They have. Maybe the way I'm expressing this story is wrong, but well, this is how it is, it's real, and unfortunately, we can't put an end to it because this generation has actually been shaped this way. Actually, I just wanted to talk about the psychology of this story. Many relationships might end for a variety of reasons, but one major reason, almost 60% of relationships among these 9 billion people end because of this. I know, it's tough, it's annoying, but well, there's nothing we can do about it. The only right way is to read some books, listen to some podcasts, and gain some experiences. We need to learn what it takes to keep someone, because in the beginning it's always about behavior. If you've noticed, winning someone over is much easier than keeping them, but after that, all you really need to do is ignore the other person. You actually need to act cold toward them so that you catch their attention and create a challenge for their mind. I know, really. I understand it all sounds so ridiculous, how some relationships just aren't real. I said that 60% of relationships among these 9 billion people might just be people getting to know each other. From the very beginning, they care about each other and stay really okay together until the end, and very much so. They treat each other beautifully and with feeling. But real love is actually when two people truly love each other passionately and care deeply about one another. It's not love when someone acts so cold toward another person that the other is constantly forced to overthink and has to always be thinking about what they're doing and whether they're making a mistake. If someone has to constantly prove themselves, that's not called love. That's just a relationship that's going to end very soon. And the only advice I can give to anyone who's been in a relationship. I know maybe I'm not old enough to be giving advice. The only thing I can say is to get out of a relationship like this, because this kind of relationship will only hurt you. On this channel, I'm only going to talk about these kinds of things. My style of talking might change. We might talk about a lot of things, and it's not just about love. Anything you'd like, I can talk about it in the next podcast. Just write it for me in full and I'll discuss it. As for the background music, I'm working on it so you won't get bored. So after listening to this podcast, see how much you agree or disagree with what I said. Love you all so much, my dear ones.